Hello, everyone, and I welcome all of you to Online Study for You, a complete placement solution. Friends, today we have a special guest with us. You might be knowing her. Her name is Kajal Goyal. She has worked in Infosys as a specialist programmer. So today she is here and she is going to discuss about like after you write your Infosys or SP role exam, then after how many days your results will come, or the expected date basically, and what will be your cutoff, how are you going to prepare for the interview, because once the result comes you cannot simply jump on preparation of the interviews, and also like what are the process basically after the interviews. So she is here to guide you all. So welcome Kajal to the channel.
Yes, hi. So, hi everyone. My name is Kajal Goyal. So, I work with Infosys as a specialist programmer, and I have worked with Infosys for 3 years, 4 months as a specialist programmer. So, that's why I'm the person who can guide you a lot about the specialist programmer profile. So, if you're someone waiting out for your results, so I would tell you my journey that when I have given the same specialist programmer written test, so what was the process I have followed and how I prepared for the interview and what was my strategy. And if you're a fresher or even you're preparing for your interview, so what could be your strategy in order to crack this exam? So basically, when I have given my written test, so I would say the result will be declared within 15 days to 30 days because it totally varies. Like I cannot give you a surety like it will be out after 15 days, but yes, it will take around 15 to 30 days. Sometimes it's been declared early and sometimes it will take a little bit higher, like we could process it to the 30 days. So once your result is being declared, so you will be getting immense time,
Okay,
like
I have
within,
one question before that. So
yeah.
can you please explain about the cutoff? Like there was three questions. One is easy level, medium level,
Hmm.
and the difficult level. So how
Hmm.
many questions if somebody has done, and also there'll be multiple test cases inside that, right?
Okay.
I'm not much aware about the six, but
Hmm.
I hope like because there'll be test cases will be there. So
Hmm.
if somebody has, I mean, somebody should do how many test cases? Obviously, it depends upon the number of seats, number of vacancies, right? All those things. But on an
Hmm.
average, like if you can expect, so how many questions one should do so that
Okay.
they will have a good chance, basically.
Okay, I would say if you have given your written test, and there would be three questions. There was the easy, medium, difficult one. So that particularly range has already been there written, like easy, medium, difficult part. So what happened is if you have attempted two questions fully, I mean by like you have totally done your two questions with the 100% success. Like all the hidden test cases has been passed successfully because once you submit your test you would be able to see the hidden test. So it will be written that the code has been compiled successfully and the hidden tests are also passed. So if you have solved two questions fully, so there is 100% probability chances that you will be selected for specialist programmer profile. Because what happen if you have done a little lesser side, let's say you have done 1.5. So there are very less chances because what happens, Infosys cutoff is going very high day by day and they are expecting to solve a person or the student whoever is giving the exam to at least do two plus question. So if you have done two questions, so I would say that you will be having the fair more chances than the other students who has done less than that. Yes, as you have already mentioned, it also depends upon the cutoff. Now, let's suppose because when I have given the exam, so I was able to do one question fully and other question 50 percentage. But I have done one question fully that was of difficulty level. The difficulty of that question was at the peak side. So I was able to solve that question, and the other 50 percentage I have been able to solve was of medium size side. So that way I was able to make through specialist programmer written test. But I would say if you will be able to solve this particular two questions, even though it's easy or medium, so you would be having the high probability that you will be getting your interview call. So yes, for this cutoff, it should range from person to person or the batch to batch. For example, if that particular batch cutoff has gone lesser, there could be a chances you would be selected in a 1.5 range also. But I would say the 100% chances will be if you have been able to solve two plus questions only or two.
Okay. Okay. So I just want to
Yes.
add one point here. So, like as you said, you had done one difficulty level completely and one medium level. So basically, for difficulty level, the marks is 100 marks they generally give, and for
Yes.
medium one it is 75, and for
Mm.
easy one it is 50. So total 225. So you had got almost 100 plus. I'm just trying to calculate. So 100 for difficulty
Yes.
one, and let's say like 40 marks for the this thing. So you had got 140 out of 225. So in and around, we can think like when you cleared 3 years back, so it was 140 marks. So if guys, if you are also, like you do around 150, 160 marks now, then probably like there are good chance. That's what
Yes.
Kajal wanted to say. Okay, Kajal, so continue. Sorry to disturb you.
Okay, no problem. So now moving on to your next question that if you have been cleared for this particular crispy role, that is a written test, so what would be your strategy in order to clear this particular profile? So I would say that in a written test, the practice that you have already done, right? So because you have been left with very less time, it will be around 15 to 30 days. I would say you to prepare yourself first of all around DSA, because if you are appearing to the interview, you are fresher, right? So there is probability that they are going to ask directly a coding question, because SP particularly interview cannot go without the what you would say a code, right? Because they are going to expect you to write the code. So the code could be in any language, like you can follow any language. You can do your code in C++, Java, JavaScript. The language could be of your choice.
Mhm.
But it is mandatorily important you to go through your programming skills, DSA knowledge, because they are going to ask you to do a code in front of the interviewer. So for that, what your preparation should be, because you must be strong with your arrays and strings concept, because the interview cannot go without the arrays or string question. They are going to give you a simpler problem. I won't say simpler. They could give you more than simpler, like they could give you the problems from easy to medium level. The problem could be from array like longest palindromic subsequence. This is the one problem they could give you. And to some these are certain kind of questions they used to ask. And there's many other problem statement that you can solve from Stiver DSA sheet. In Stiver DSA sheet, he has explained it very well. I would say you to first be prepared with your array and string topic. So once you are done with your arrays and string topic, so you have to prepare yourself for the searching and sorting algorithm, because they can directly ask you, do you know fit sort? Do you know merge sort? So do you know how to write the code in merge sort, and how to write optimize code? Because what happened is, when I gave my interview, the interview asked me to detect a cycle in a linked list. So I just told him the brute force approach.
Mm.
He mentioned that the brute force approach will not be going to work. I have to write the optimized version. So be aware of the time complexity, space complexity. If you're writing the code, be aware that you have to write the optimized code. If you're not able to write the optimized code, try with the brute force and with the help of interviewer, because interview will also be very cordial. They will help you to reach the optimized version of that particular code. And so with the guidance of interview, they will give you, this is a particular edge case, so how you can proceed with this particular thing. So this way you can write the optimized code. So I would say once you are done with array string, you have done with your array searching sorting algorithm. For this also, I would suggest Striver is the best, because this is a very less time. 15 to 30 days is a very less time. So how much preparation you have already done before your written test, that will be going to be plus. That will be going to add on. So just do one thing, open this array, strings, and searching sorting algorithm, topics from the Cyber SG sheet. He has mentioned all the important questions that you can go through. So once you're done with these questions, I would say that there is less chances, but from freshers also, sometimes they ask questions from trees, because they will simply ask what is binary search tree. So how can you create AVL? So these are certain questions they can directly ask. So for that also you need to be prepared. So array strings are simpler one that you can easily handle, but when it comes to tree, it sounds somewhat tricky than these questions. So you have to solve trees question also. If say you have no detailed knowledge about trees. So what you could do is, you must have a brief idea about what is a tree. At least you would be having a understanding that you can exactly explain to the interviewer what exactly is tree, what exactly the graph is. If you don't have that detailed knowledge. Now, one question comes to the student's mind, like if we have no idea about graph, if we have no idea about trees, are we not going to get selected? So I would say no, it's not like that. Because what happens is sometimes it happens like interview also ask the question around arrays, around strings. Maybe because sometimes they also presume you are fresher and you must not have done that graph questions or some way. So you can directly explain him that to the interviewer that I'm not well aware of the graph, so I have not done deep study around the graph, but I have confidence on arrays, strings, or searching sorting algorithm. This way also you can regulate your interview. So I would say just be on the plus side, because since the competition is high and the interviewer this will be going to do the filtration. So whatever the way you can perform your best, it will be the best, right? So try, if you can cover these topics as well. I would say array, string, searching sorting algorithm is done. A graph, trees is something that you need to cover. And beside that, you can go through dynamic programming and backtracking as well. But these two also you can cover from Striver, because founded, like he has prepared everything in a detail. Like his sheet will be going to help you, because right now you don't have that much time to go through the video content. Otherwise, for that backtracking, you can go through that Aditya Sharma video playlist. But yes, the time is lesser, so try to do the hands-on practice more in this particular time that has been left with you. Now, DSA is something that you need to grill yourself, because in interview, the interviewer is going to ask you the coding problem. That is the must. Second is the resume. Whatever the skill you are going to mention in your resume, you can regulate your interview around that. Why am I saying this? Because sometimes it happens the interview may also not ask you the DSA question. Why? For example, I have connected with you. Let's suppose you are an interviewer. You ask me to brief out about myself. So in my intro, I would specify that I'm strong in Java technologies. So what would you do? If in my intro I have mentioned I'm strong in Java technologies, I have made projects, and I will give you an idea about a project that you will find even more interesting. So now your entire focus will be diverted to that Java project and my Java technology. Suppose even also you are a Java developer. So instead of asking DSA question, you will start asking question near related to Java tech stack. So whatever the technology that you have worked or in your college time you did in your internship, or whatever the project you have made within your team or within your friends, try to add that project within your resume and have a clear understanding regarding the project, because that will be going to give you edge whenever you are sitting for an interview. So try to mention the project in detail to the interviewer, so that he'll be convinced that whatever the project you are mentioning to him is something that you know thoroughly. Like don't have that project in your resume that's a copy paste project that you are not able to explain to the interviewer. This time is very crucial because you have already given your written test, so you can be achieved specialist programmer profile just after clearing the interview. So interview is something that is very important right now, and so you can showcase your skill set to the interviewer through your resume. So in resume, whatever the tech stack you are mentioning, either it's JavaScript, MERN, Mean, or Python, whatever it is, you must have to go to the internet and type or search most important interview questions asked in Python. Because interviewer who is going to take your interview, maybe he's from other tech stack. Let's suppose you are an interview, you are from Python tech stack. But when I've mentioned you Java, you will also go to the internet and will going to search out the most interview asked question,
True.
or the most important questions, right? So just for the freshers, I would suggest please don't go to the interviewer directly without having a knowledge on the most important question on that particular tech stack. Just have a brief idea about all the tech stack that you have worked on. So the most important core concepts of that particular programming language. Now your programming language is strong. You have already prepared your projects. Now what would be your other target? I would say database. SQL is also very important because the interview asks around SQL a lot. I would say SQL is something database. You can also go through relational database and non-relational database. If any of the database is being mentioned in your profile, he's going to ask question from that. Like he could ask question from you like joins, write joins, or he may ask you about different queries to write. So you must be having an idea about the databases. Or let's suppose if you are a fresher who have not done any tech stack, like you have mentioned in your resume DSA, and you have simply not mentioned a simple project based on only one programming language. You haven't been aware about any of the technology in detail, or something you haven't done in a very good way, like the technology. So I would say then in that case, he is going to take your interview around DSA only, because you have not created some impressive project. Obviously, then you are giving interviewer a space to ask question around DSA, because he is not being left with anything he could ask, right? So
Mhm.
he will be going to ask the question around DSA. Another thing is he can ask you the question around DBMS, operating system, and computer networks. Because in your resume you have not mentioned any particular tech stack, so this is a very generic subject that is particularly learned in your college days. So that's why he's going to ask the question around computer networks, DBMS, operating system, and the DSA. So if you are someone who has not been very well versed with your full stack, or what you would say technology side, so you must have to prepare yourself on these sides. But for these also, the interviewer will not be going to ask those hard questions. In DBMS, he may ask questions regarding normalization, first normalization, second normalization, and like that question he can ask. And from operating system also, you can prepare through directly. Most important question you can see, because this is something that interview can ask. And computer networks also, he's not going to ask you very hard question in that domain, but he will be going to ask you the question that is very important, because any fresher should know the basic idea you should be having, the basic concepts you should be well aware with. Because in DBMS, whatever I mentioned, it is a very important, normalization is very important that any fresher should know. So try to cover these areas in detail. So I have almost covered everything. If you are a fresher and you're preparing yourself on these domains, project is something that you can nail your interview, because a project is something that is going to give you an edge. And in resume, I would suggest, because since the resume is something that will be going to put a good impression in front of the interviewer. So in resume, mention only that technology that you know very, very well. Don't write any programming language randomly that you don't know. Let's suppose if I know Java, so try to mention Java only. Don't add Python if you don't know, because whatever programming language you will mention, or whatever the tools, what are the technologies you will mention, the interview is basically going to ask question around that. Because if within the interview you will mention that I don't know that particular technology, or I don't know that particular programming language, I will ask why you have added that particular thing in resume. I would say one thing also, you can tackle this way. Let's suppose if you have added something in your resume just by chance, and within your interview, the interviewer is asking why you haven't added this technology if you don't know, right? Just give him an idea that I have gone through this particular technology or this particular programming skills in my first year or my second year. I have made a project on this, but right now I'm not able to recall it. But I have made a project and I have learned this particular programming language within my first year or second year. Then the interviewer will also be able to correlate with you that it's okay, it's fine. Everyone can't know everything. So it's okay if you are not able to answer any of the question of the interview viewer. So just be prepared on that area which you are strong in. If you're strong on DSA side, so mention DSA. If you are very strong in any of the particular tech stack, then mention that tech stack. And this is how you can perform good in your interview. And this is how your preparation should look like, I would say.
Okay. That's great. So you have given a lot more than the expected. Okay.
And one more thing also
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to add. What happened is the resume is something that particularly the student has a lot of confusion about. For example, I would say in resume, what you could do is you have to mention your skill set. That is very important. Skill set is something that gives an idea to the interviewer that you know this particular skill. Then you have to make a column that is of project. In this project, you have to add the project, like either it is of booking project, either it was of financial domain, either it was of banking domain, like that. You have to mention the domain of that particular project. And you have to write a two, 3 lines, whatever the functionality or modules you have worked in it. For example, in booking, let's suppose in the flight booking system, you have done on the booking module, or you have worked on the sign in sign up module, so you can add that those functionalities within your resume, like you can add the pointers. And moreover, if you have worked on that particular project and if it is uploaded on GitHub, then you can also add the GitHub links as well within your resume. Because in this way, what will happen is the interviewer will be having your portfolio in hand. You can also add your lead code profiles links as well. For example, if you are a good coder and you have done a lot of problems, so you could also add your links, lead code links. You could add your code chef profile, whatever the profile you have mastered in, so you can add. In achievements, you can add your problems that you have already solved. I would say these are going to give you an edge, and many students think that hobbies is unnecessary part. It happens because my time also I used to think, and hobbies is something that is unnecessary, that we should not write hobbies. I would say you can also mention hobbies in your resume, because what happened, let's suppose if you are a good reader, if you like reading, so what happened is it shows that you have a reading capability. If you are a good singer also, then don't think like I'm a singer and it is not related to coding. So how would it going to help me out in my interview? So it would help you in your interview, because as in previous video that I have shooted with you, and that also I have discussed, what happen is if the interviewer has also the same connection or same connection with that particular hobbies, he could relate yourself with himself, and he could even ask question related to it. So it happened with me many a times. The interviewer and my hobbies got aligned, and we have started interaction towards it. So it gave me an edge, like he became so cordial and he felt a connection with me. This way it will give you an edge because you are showcasing your skills. So he will analyze, like you are a good dancer, you're a good singer, that means you have dedication in this particular area, that means you're a person who are good learner. You need a start, and then you are going to excel in this profession as well. Means like that you can add these hobbies as well. I won't say there is no harm in these kind of hobbies if you mention in your resume. And these are the simple things that you could do. If you have a lesser time, just add your technology, just strong your DSA. If you are thinking that, yeah, I cannot do graph, trees, recursion, dynamic programming, 3D algorithm in a very short time. So I would say just don't do anything. Start with array, start with string, just solve array, string, medium question. That is very important, because sometimes the interview may ask only the medium question, because interview is totally going to be on your luck. Interviewer, the that interviewer who is going to take your interview, it will be a random, will be totally on luck, because every interview is different. Every interview experience will be different. But I would say you have to prepare yourself to the 100%. Rest you can leave it to the God. So whatever will happen. But for the preparation side, I would suggest, if you're short of time, you can do array strings. But if you have immense time, or you have already done these topics, so you can revise those topics, because sometimes it may happen he can ask you the questions related to linked list, tag, queues also. So project is something that is very important. Yeah, these are certain things I would suggest to every student who are preparing. So this is how you can crack your interview.
Great, great. Okay, so again, Infosys seems to be like visiting some of the campuses in August 3rd and
Okay.
4th. So this video should definitely help them. I mean, what will be the enhanced salary of Infosys SP role?
Okay. Enhanced salary. I would say that enhanced salary will be around 50,000.
That's all.
Yeah.
So much of tax deduction and all.
Yes. After tax deduction, I am like it will be in hand like that only. Yeah.
So if Amitabh Bachchan would have been there, would have asked, "क्या करोगे इतने पैसे का, इतने धनराशि का?" Okay, that's great. But Fraser, to start with, it's a very. I mean, see, more than money, the profile is very very good for Infosys SP. That's
Mm.
what I can feel. And anyway, you are there, so you know better than me because you have already worked with for the Infosys SP. So generally, like everyone will be getting developer roles in an Infosys SP role.
Yes, I would say once you have cleared your SP profile, right? Because what happened in they have three profiles here: system engineer, DSC, and SP. So SP is the premium, I would say premium unit within the Infosys, and they treat you like a premium unit. What happened is whatever the developers are there in the STG unit, that is the SP unit. So they will find that they will be having a very good amount of learnings, good amount of projects within the Infosys. And let's suppose if you have deployed in a project and you are not satisfied with that particular project, you can even raise your voice to your mentors, to the senior professional. They are going to hear you and they will simply help you to get out of the project. Means this because what happens in earlier other domains of the Infosys, they don't give that priority that importance. But since
Hmm.
in specialist programmer, they are providing a higher package, so they want you to work on the very advanced domains, advanced technologies, and moreover advanced projects. So that's why they are going to listen you. They are going to address the issues if you're facing within the project, if you're not satisfied, if you're facing any challenges, if you're
Hmm.
feeling monotonous within the project, if you're not finding development or the technology that is
Hmm.
being aligning with your skill set, so you can raise your voice, you can tell uh, that I'm not satisfied and I want to change my technology, and they will be going to hear you. But yes, that all will be done once you are given specialist programmer profile, not before that.
Okay, great, great. So when you joined Infosys, so that time also the package was 9.5.
Yes,
All
9.5.
okay.
Actually, why it happens is here 8 is the fixed and 1.5 is the variable one. So I'm getting the in-hand salary based on my fixed amount because every quarter we will be given around 25 to 30,000 every quarter. So I would say it will be 65 average. Means if you will add this particular salary within your in hand, so
Mm-hmm.
that will be 65 average. So it will vary because performance bonus also varies because quarter to quarter you will be getting the salary.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I would say.
Great, great. So
And yes, some certain important question I would say that could help you if you are looking out for this particular preparation because I have given interviews and I have seen many of my friends who have given interviews and I have seen that there were some certain questions has been asked from them. So can I tell you the questions?
yes, 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 please.
Yeah. So since from my experience, they have asked me to detect a cycle in a linked list. So this is a something very important question that you can study yourself. And the other questions would be like sort linked list using keys. That is also a very important question. Since I mentioned that linked list is also, I don't know I have mentioned it or not, but linked list is something very important. So linear DSA part is very important. They usually ask question from it. So it totally depends upon luck. Maybe sometime they cannot ask, but there is maximum chances they would be going to ask. And the other would be I have mentioned searching is very important. So they can ask the question like find the number using binary search. They can provide you an element and you have to find that element using binary search. And other questions could be like they can ask you implement a queue using arrays.
Mm-hmm.
And they can ask merge sort implementation, that is very important. And they can ask you three sum lead code problem because that's the something very important I would say. And other questions I would say is they can ask you frequency of element, like you have to find that how much this particular vector is repeated within particular these kind of frequency questions they basically used to ask.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they can ask binary tree as I've already mentioned, so you can prepare yourself if you're preparing for trees. So you can prepare a balanced binary search tree. So what is it? So balanced binary search tree is something they can ask, and other questions they can ask is you have to write a program for the linked list operation using recursion. So these are some important questions that can be asked within your SP exam. And other I would say is they can ask question like we can you have been given with a 2 cross 2 matrix, and you have to find the difference of some of the diagonals, and this is how your approach should be in optimized way. And they can also ask questions like find maximum sum subarray, right? And pre-order, post-order, in order. And yeah, I can recall these some certain questions that they used to repeat. Yeah.
Great, great. You also have a YouTube channel, right? So where you are guiding, I mean,
Yes,
freshers
yes.
and experience.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. So it is nice actually. Now we have started putting the content as well. So that will definitely help, for other exams as well. So I'll
Mm.
put that link in the description so let people utilize. See, nowadays like getting the free resources is very very tough. So in that, and also like the quality information. So there are many people who has even not worked with, worked in Infosys or as a SP role and all, but they will guide a student. So
And yes, and one thing I missed because this is very, very, very important. Means they used to ask second highest salary and net highest salary. And at highest salary is something very important question.
mhm,
It could be asked to any of the fresher because even though I'm experienced, sometimes interviewer also asked to me as well. Because in DBMS, this is the question that could be asked. So when I was recalling, so I recall that this is something that particular question used to ask frequently to the students. Asset property as well. Normalization, as I've already mentioned,
mhm, mhm.
and REST API implementation is something that is very important.
Yes, yes. True. Okay, Kajal, thank you. Thanks a lot for coming to the platform and guiding the student. So
Yes.
I hope it will be beneficial for the student, and I am also learning a lot of things. At least I am knowing a lot of terms because I'm not very familiar with the coding. So
Yes.
I'm
Actually,
getting.
these questions that I've already discussed with you, I've already shared it on my channel as well.
Oh,
Yes, that's why, yeah, that's why I'm able to recall because that time when when I'm recalling those questions, right? So, or whenever I have prepared that particular PDF, so I have connected with a lot of friends who have given the interview and they have faced these kind of questions. So when I was preparing myself for this particular SP role, it had helped me a lot. So I would suggest you all can watch that particular video, and in that PDF I've also shared, and this would probably be going to help all of you.
oh, that's great. So I'll be putting your channel link in the comment section as usual. So people should connect with you directly.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Everybody start searching Kajal ma'am. They'll forget. See, anyway, the good thing with when I do a like podcast, so I'll be like silent, okay? So because anyway, like what a student needs and what kind of questions I can ask. So you answer in that particular way, so you saves a lot of my effort. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
Kajal, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank